Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Nunes here. Today I'm going to be helping you with some of the work in your math packet. This video will help you with your work on pages 8 and 9 in your packet, working with a standard algorithm to add greater numbers and working on estimating. So this is page 8 in your packet. Let's look at the directions. It says estimate the sum of each addition problem to check if the student answer is reasonable. If it's not reasonable, you're going to cross out the answer and write the correct answer. So basically we have some addition problems here and we have some student answers. So some student worked and came up with all of these answers for the addition problem. So the directions are asking you to estimate. So you're going to estimate the sum to see if the answer that the student wrote is reasonable. So in this first example, 8,997 plus 2,301. The student got an answer of 31,998. But when you estimate that and you round these to the nearest thousand, you would see that 8,997 is closer to 9,000. And 2,301 is closer to 2,000. So when you estimate 9,000 plus 2,000, your answer should be somewhere pretty close to 11,000. So when this student got an answer of 31,998, that tells you right there that is not a reasonable answer. So that's why this answer is crossed out, and they did the work for you. They added up those numbers, and the correct answer is actually 11,298. So I'm going to show you how to do the next example, 23,411 plus 35,507. So they want you to estimate to see if this answer that the student came up with is reasonable. So I'm going to estimate. So how do we estimate? Well, we use rounding to estimate. And when you're rounding to estimate, you want to round to the greatest place value position that you have. So in this case, both of these numbers go to the 10,000s place. So I'm going to round both of them to the 10,000s place. So starting with this number, 23,411. When rounding to the nearest 10,000, I look next door and I see a 3. Remember that rule from my last video? 5 or more, you're going to raise the score. If it's 4 or less, you let it rest. So 3 is less than 4, so we're going to just let this rest. And the 2 is going to stay as a 2. So let me write this down. So the 2 will stay as a 2. And everything else after it, the 4 numbers after it, change to zeros. Oh, 20,000. And you can also ask yourself the question, is 23,411, is that closer to 20,000 or 30,000? And it's closer to 20,000. All right, so now the next number, 35,507, I'm going to round it to the 10,000s place again. So I look next door. Now there's a 5. 5 or more means to raise the score, round up. So since we're going to round up this 3, we're going to add 1 to it since we're rounding up. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And then everything after that, rounding place, 1, 2, 3, 4, changes to 0. So my estimate is 20,000 plus 40,000. That's pretty easy for me to do some mental math. 20,000 plus 40,000 equals 60,000. So now I know when I look back at my work packet and it says the student's answer was 12,918, but my estimate was 60,000. Those numbers are not even close together. So that tells me that the student's answer is not reasonable. So I would cross it off, like the directions say. If it's not reasonable, you cross it off, and then write the exact answer. So how do we find the exact answer? You need to add. So we're going to add 23,411 plus 35,507. Now remember, estimating helps us see if our answer is reasonable, so our answer should be pretty close to 60,000. So now I'm going to add to see. So I start with the ones place. 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 plus 0 is 1. 4 plus 5 is 9, comma. In the thousands place, 3 plus 5 is 8, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So my answer, my exact answer, 58,918, that's pretty close to my estimate of 60,000. So that means that my answer is reasonable. But it's always a good idea to double check your addition. because even though your answer may look reasonable, it's still possible that you have maybe made a mistake in your computation, in your adding. So to check your answer, you can go back and you can re-add. 1 plus 7 is 8, 1 plus 0 is 1, 4 plus 5 is 9, 3 plus 5 is 8, 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, now I know my addition, I did it correctly. You can also use the inverse operation, the inverse, which means the opposite of addition, to check your answer. What's the opposite of addition? The inverse operation. So the inverse of addition would be subtraction. So you can check your answer using these three numbers. You're going to start with your answer here, your sum, the biggest number, and write it down, 58,918. And remember, we're using the inverse operation, so the opposite of addition is subtraction. So to check your answer another way, you're going to take that sum that you got and subtract one of these numbers. So I'm going to subtract 35,507. And my answer should be this number, 23,411. If I did my adding right, then when I use the inverse operation to check my answer, excuse me, then my answer here should be this number that I started with, 23,411. So let's subtract and see if we are correct. So we start in the ones place for subtraction. 8 minus 7 is 1. 1 minus 0, 1. 9 minus 5 is 4, comma. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So this answer, 23,411, is that number that we started with here. So that means another way for me to check that my answer is reasonable. So again, you use estimation to see what your answer should be close to. You double check your answer to make sure you didn't make any mistakes, because it is still possible to have a mistake in your addition, even though your answer looks reasonable because it's close to your estimate. You could still have a mistake. So you can check by adding again, and you can check by using the inverse operation. So today I'm going to leave you with this. I have added this problem, 143,795 plus 60,943. In the comments, can you show me one way that I can check if my answer is correct, if my answer is reasonable? So again, in the comments, show me one way that I can check to see if my addition work is correct. Alrighty. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you have any questions about using the standard algorithm to add or about estimating, anything like that, post a comment, message me on Class Dojo. I will get back to you and help you as best as I can. Have a good day.